can do anything, overcome everything. If we rise high enough, we won't be lost, be lost, be lost. We'll be here forever. I chase it today. We can do anything. Tonight we're gonna show them who we Tonight we're gonna show them who we Show them who we Tonight we're gonna show them who we It's time to show them who we are. Let them know it's gone too far. We won't close our eyes again. Here, imagine freedom from our sins. Believe in peace that never ends. Let us fight to make it real. Take a stand, let us call it out. We can do anything, overcome everything. If we rise high enough, we won't be lost, be lost, be lost. We'll be here forever. I chase it today. We can do anything. Tonight we're gonna show them who we are. Here, imagine every one of us. Make their lives turn into dust. There's no time to fall apart. Take a stand, let us call it out. Take a stand, let us call it out. We can do anything, overcome everything. If we rise high enough, we won't be lost.
And we are indeed live. Yes, we are live. And so, what is up, everybody? I hope everybody had a really good long, basically 2 weeks. I certainly did. Been one crazy 2 weeks indeed for me and my family. I've been very busy for the past 2 weeks. Let me get these going for y'all. Hello and welcome back. Sorry about the couple weeks of basically nothing. Basically, to sum everything up, I got married to the most beautiful bride I've ever got to witness, and she's one in a million for me. I'm definitely happy and grateful and blessed to have her. So yeah, welcome back to Legends of Saturdays, where Saturdays is always going to be legendary. I am going to be your host again today, as always. And today, as sorry as I have to say it, I do owe somebody and some team an apology that is currently in the national championship. Miami. I do owe you an apology. I doubted y'all. I thought Ole Miss was the better team. Y'all went out and completely, I wouldn't say dominated, but you definitely handled your business with Ole Miss, and you handled them pretty well considering how fast Ole Miss likes to go. Ole Miss, you are our last resort. You are our last resort in the SEC. I was rooting for you, especially with the skeleton staff that y'all had. I was pulling for y'all, but Miami came out. They were physical, disciplined, and just flat out better on both sides of the ball. You came out, you handled your business, and just you came out and did a phenomenal job, and for that you're in the national championship game. Congrats. Since 2001. So, big step up. I mean, haven't been back for about plus 20 years, so can't complain. And you're at home. You get to play at your stadium, which is pretty impressive to say the least. Not a lot of teams could say that. But you did come out. You handled Ole Miss fast tempo offense. You established the run like you were supposed to. You got Malachi Toney involved tremendously, and your defense was stellar. The only thing that I have to also apologize for is Carson Beck. Carson Beck, you also have been surprising me for all the games that you played it for the playoffs. You've shown discipline, you showed tenacity, and you showed grit. Miami, you're surprising me, especially with your Cinderella story. I mean, you're ranked 10th in the overall in the playoffs, and everybody basically had you out in the first round after A&M. Like, they thought A&M was just going to blow y'all out of the water. No. Defense came out, handled Texas A&M's offense. I mean, if that was Alabama, we would have got beat. Alabama could not handle a dual threat quarterback to save their life. I mean, just look at the amount of years, even with the defense we've had with Nick Saban. Just couldn't handle it. So I have to give y'all credit. Y'all came out, you handled your business with Ole Miss, and you just look better overall so far. Now, about tonight, though, it's going to be a different story, but we'll get into that. So, throughout the whole episode, but as of right now, I have to give y'all credit where credit is due, and Ole Miss just looked completely lost. They couldn't handle your offense. Like, it looks like Miami was trying to basically prove themselves, whereas Ole Miss, it just looked like what they were trying to do, they just wanted to prove that they didn't really need Lane Kiffin. They didn't really need their head coach. They had the recipe to continue on and get into the national championship. So Miami had that chip on their shoulder that, look, we understand. We've had 2 losses, but they were fluke losses. We should have handled better on those 2 losses, and everybody just want to count us out. And, thanks to us for losing in the SEC championship, you're in this. Because if we won that game in the SEC championship, I don't think Miami would have been in. There had been more of probably, in my opinion, I probably would have assumed that the committee would have put BYU in, just because they're not going to discipline the conference championship. I mean they proved it with us. I don't think they would have disciplined them and they would have put them in the 10 spot. But I'm not on the committee. I don't know. I don't know what goes on through their head, especially with why they believe that two Group 5 teams, conference champions, should go in. We've now proven back-to-back years that teams should not be in it. Excuse me, my mouth is getting really dry. But again, I do want to give Miami congratulations on being in the national championship. They are definitely going to be coming out. They're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder, because I still believe that they are still listening in on the media saying that, oh, Miami might still lose this game. Oh, it's going to be Indiana. I mean, look at what Indiana's been doing to the whole playoffs. They've been dominating everybody on both sides of the ball. Okay, well, they're going to use that as fuel, especially with that stellar defense that they have. I mean, they have that defensive lineman that's like going nuts right now, and they have a stellar defensive backs. Their whole defense just looks incredible. I think that Miami has a decent shot tonight. Now, let's go back to Indiana. Wow. Curt Cinetti, you have this team looking like Alabama back in 2010s. You have them looking like we just no team could come up to you and go, we're gonna beat you, and we're gonna laugh at your face. You have this whole team believing in each other and supporting one another. And my God, if I'm going back on you, Jordan, because I don't understand how you don't like Mendoza, but my God, I don't know how you cannot like Mendoza, but you have a quarterback that, in all opinion, I think he's probably going to be like a Tom Brady in the NFL. He's definitely going to be looking like a Tom Brady in the NFL. Prove me I'm wrong. Prove me. Tell me I'm wrong. Please, somebody in the comments section or anything, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that it looks like Mendoza's not going to be like a Tom Brady. The way he handles the game and way he manages the game is almost like a Tom Brady like. He can read the defense. He can create like magic throughout the field. And if I'm not mistaken, this whole team that Cinetti have right now, I don't think a single player is a 5-star. 5 stars. You got Ole Miss, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Oregon, Oklahoma. All these teams that are picking up 5-star recruits. And Indiana's over here with 3 stars, 4 stars. Now, granted, they have been killing it in the transfer portal. But, like, Cincinnati has made this team, like, they're this most unstoppable monster. Like, Alabama has been, throughout my whole time of watching Alabama football, basically throughout the whole Nick Saban era and his dynasty. Now, I can't say for certain that it's going to continue that way next year. We don't know how it's going to be next year with Indiana. But we're just going to be focusing on the national championship game today because that's one of the most important games, right? And it's one of the most legendary games that is ever going to be for basically college football players. It's one of their last hurrahs. Like, we've got to prove ourselves. We want this. But I think, in all opinion, Indiana just looks like the most complete team. And they have been dominating everybody. Wasn't there a saying that it's hard to beat a team twice in the same season? Indiana just proved that wrong. They beat Oregon 56-22. 56-22. Not a lot of teams can say they beat 2 top 5 teams back to back. Well, not back to back, but you know what I mean. Like, they beat them in the same season twice. And if I'm not mistaken, the first time they beat them, they were at Oregon. Now, granted, this time they were at the Peach Bowl, but still, Indiana just looks complete on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. I don't see Miami winning this game tonight. And that's where we're going to go into the deep dive of tonight. And tonight, what I really see, what it's going to come down to, it's going to come down to the quarterback play. It's going to come back to Mendoza and Carson Beck. And I think Mendoza has an edge over Carson Beck because if you look at the 2 games, I want to bring up the Alabama game too when he played us last year because he did the same thing. So I am going to bring that in. I know he was at Georgia, but it's still Carson Beck. Every single last drive that he has thrown interceptions. Louisville, SMU, and with us at Alabama when he played with us against and when he was at Georgia, he has thrown interceptions on every single final drive. If he has to have a final drive like how he did against Ole Miss and has that type of play style and that grit and that I'm going to prove you wrong attitude, Miami has a chance. But if he doesn't, and he plays like how he did against SMU, Louisville, and Bama, especially on that final drive, it's not going to last. The quarterback play is going to be the de facto of the game. It's going to be basically the who's going to have the better play, who's going to be the better quarterback. And I think Mendoza has the better bet. After that game at Penn State, he's just been on fire. And that whole team has just been on a train that doesn't look like it's going to stop. It looks like an unstoppable force that's not going to get stopped. Miami, I don't think you're going to be able to build a brick wall or even a steel wall to handle this. But we'll see. It just really depends on the quarterback play. That's going to be my main thing that I'm going to be watching for tonight is the quarterback play. Now, defenses, Miami does have a good pass rush. And if you look at it statistically, Mendoza does not handle pressure very well. He doesn't handle it too badly, but it's not as bad as most like people think. Like if it's like Ty Simpson, he can he handles it like. I guess what I'm trying to say is that he can manage the game and handles pressure to a reasonable point. And he can beat you with his legs. He doesn't have the speed like a Lamar Jackson or Daniel Moore. He doesn't have the speed like that. But he knows when to run the ball, especially he definitely knows where the first down marker is. Carson Beck, on the other hand, if you get pressure up on him, he will fumble and crumble and go down. Or he will throw it up in the air and hope for the best. Granted, he does have Tony in the backfield. So there's a plus. But let's be real. You put 2 man on him, and then I wouldn't even worry about having a quarterback spy for Carson Beck. So you can rush 5 and then put 2 on Tony and then play man for everybody else. Indiana's got that down. Miami's offense is not going to move. And if you put 7 in the box every time when they start running the ball, because their running back is pretty damn good. I wish Alabama had a running back like him. But we're not talking about Alabama. And they do have a good offensive line that they're definitely going to run the ball a lot. And if they establish the run game, Miami's going to have a shot. See, this is the point of we're playing cats and mouse. Who is going to what offense is going to work best? Is Indiana going to be able to do their deep routes like they do? Because I've noticed a trend of like they'll run the ball on the first down, and then they'll get like 3 to 4 yards, hopefully 4 or 5 yards just to be safe, and then they'll do a whole Alabama crap where they'll just go deep on the second down. Granted, they also have a better quarterback than we did, so he was able to throw the ball, and we also had they also have better wide receivers than we did. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate from that with people saying, "Oh, but we have Ryan Williams. We had Jeremy Bernard. We had Isaiah Horton." Right. Jeremy Bernard's a senior, and he was the one that basically did everything. Ryan Williams couldn't catch a ball to save his life. Like, he could be, like, handed to him as a pillow, and he would still drop the ball. Isaiah Horton only showed up when both wide receivers were either being covered up or playing as a decoy or were struggling. And then we had a tight end that basically was... We should have gave him the ball more, but Ty Simpson was running for his life because we had no offensive line. So come at me with Indiana doesn't have a better wide receiving core than we did. Look how many wide receivers has in touchdowns and their deep ball compared to us. Look how many times they have catches over plus 20 yards compared to us. And then we could talk. Look, I can hate on my team. I've been an Alabama fan for basically since I've been born. My dad grew me up on Alabama, so I'm born and raised. And I have the privilege of growing up during the Nick Saban era. And I'm sorry to say this for Kalen DeBoer, but he set a standard that he should have just followed the script instead of just going, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm not going to follow what Nick Saban did. Anyway, that's beside the point. I can go into a whole spiel about what DeBoer's been doing and Saban and all this and that, but we're talking about the legendary game of the national championship tonight. Anyway, back onto that. I think Indiana is going to pull away with this. I believe that Indiana has the better team. They're better on both sides of the ball. Miami, they do have a stellar defense. I don't see them getting through with Carson Beck. I don't see it. Unless they manage to just keep their running back in as a blocker so that Carson Beck has some time, I don't see this game being as close as everybody thinks it's going to be. Sorry, going through my notes. But I'm going to give you my final prediction for the game. Obviously, I believe it's going to be Indiana having their first national championship. Excuse me. The score is going to be Indiana 35, Miami 21. I think they're definitely going to be able to score. It's going to be a close game in the first half, but Indiana's going to pull away in the second half. Now, with that being said about the national championship, and I did apologize to you, Miami. So, Miami fans, don't come at me. I know not last week, excuse me. I forgot that I got married last week. Well, I didn't, but you know what I mean. That the excuse me, I just had a whole brain fart for a second. Now, with all that being said, and you know, my last show I talked about Miami, and I apologize, Miami fans. Don't come at me. And Indiana, go Hoosiers. I believe in you. You got this. I'm pulling for you tonight. Just because you also have Kurt Cinetti, and he's probably going to be the closest thing right now in college football that's going to be Nick Saban. Yes, I said that. I know everybody's going to come at me and start saying, well, we got Kirby Smart. No, Kirby Smart, he can't control his team. I think he's more of an Urban Meyer, especially Urban Meyer when he was at Florida. I think he's the next Urban Meyer that was back in the 2000s. Just look at it comparisons. Just look at the comparisons. The only thing that Kirby has up on him is he has a back-to-back win national championships. Now, with all that being said, transfer portal ended yesterday. That was a doozy. Auburn fans, how are you feeling, by the way? Do you even have a team left? Man. And, you know, it hurts for me to say, Alabama, we don't have an offensive line. At first I thought look, DeBoer, you kind of surprised me with the whole upgrading on the offensive line, and you're slowly building a defense again after our whole defensive line just basically left. But, like, you surprised me. Indiana has been killing it. LSU, wow. If I have to give grades out for teams, LSU, you get an A+. You have established yourself in the transfer portal, and that's most likely granted to Lane Kiffin. And I'm surprised. I'm really surprised. So, I don't know if anybody's been like paying attention to On3 or just been looking at the transfer portal, but has anybody noticed that LSU has only gotten a couple of players from Ole Miss? Only a couple. Only a couple followed Lane Kiffin. And nobody's asking the real question of why. Do you think it's because Lane Kiffin left a bad taste? Do you think it's because Lane Kiffin decided to follow money instead of finishing out his season with Ole Miss? Who knows? But I really believe that Ole Miss is surprising me very much in the transfer portal. They've picked up some really good players. I know they've picked up some Alabama defensive line, which that might also be because of Pete Golding's recruiting when he was with us at Bama, and I think that might be his players that he recruited when he was with Bama. But this transfer portal chaos has been crazy this year. We've had the biggest turnout in transfer portals announcements, We've had some shockers, especially with Nebraska's quarterback, Dylan Raiola, transferring to Oregon, and then Deontay Moore returning to Oregon, and now you got Dylan going, what the hell? You're not going to the draft? And I'm surprised he didn't put his name back in the transfer portal right after. But in a sense, I can see why. What team needs a quarterback right now? Well, there's three options that I could see him if he did go back in the transfer portal. Clemson. Klubnik is done. I think he's done. He's going to the draft. You've got Auburn. Yes, I know Auburn picked up the Tulane, or not Tulane, excuse me, USF quarterback, Brown. But really? And then you've got, there was another team that was looking for a quarterback. Oh, I had it in my head. Well, he had some options. I mean, Indiana's about to be losing their quarterback, but granted, it might be his brother that's going to be the starter. But that one shocked me that he didn't surprise everybody. Just say, you know what? Screw y'all. Y'all want to keep him? Fine. I'm out. You know, a good fit for him would have been to go back to Nebraska. Look, I get this year didn't go out the way he wanted it, but he also got injured as well. Nebraska would have been a perfect fit for him, and he should have stayed. A lot of teams need to, especially players. Ooh, excuse me. A lot of players. Excuse me. A lot of players right now, especially that, put their names in the transfer portal. What happened? What happened back in the 2010s when players would enter the transfer portal and then they have to sit out a year, and then after that year, they may get the starting position, they may not, but there's no more commitments to teams anymore. I feel like recruiting day is basically a bust. It's no longer a huge day for recruits and for high school seniors. I don't think it's important anymore. I really don't. Because if you look at it, okay, they recruit, they're going to get an NIL deal. They're also going to be looking into earning money while they're in high school. And yes, I did look it up. Alabama students, seniors, can receive money. Alabama high school students that are 17 can receive millions of dollars from NIL just because they're a 5-star. They're like, what, 16, 17, 18? I know I said 16, but there's some people that start early and start late. It's whatever. Most of them are 17 and 18-year-olds. Yes, I know. But still, NIL needs to do something about, especially with high school students, being able to get money, because that's not right. That means a 17-year-old is making more money than what an NFL player would make. NFL. A professional grade, and they are making less money than what a college football high school freshman. I know I say college football anyway. No, they should not make that much money. It's just gotten too severe at this point, and Nick Saban warned us about it, and we're seeing the repercussions now. Only time will tell when somebody will say enough is enough. We've got to do something with this NIL deals. Only time will tell. And I think people are starting to understand that it's getting pretty bad. Pretty bad. And we're not doing anything about it. So, 17-year-old making more money than I would ever see in a lifetime. Possibly. It's ridiculous. I don't believe that they should make that much money, but that's me personally. I know there's some people out there that's going to be defending them going, well, they put their talent into their sport. Okay, yes, and I'm putting my talent out trying to talk to you. You're out right now listening in on me. I'm putting out my passion. Am I making money off of it? Not yet. Hopefully, one day. But I don't believe that they should be making this much money. You look at, the old school football, like Reggie Bush and Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, even though there was a scandal going on with them. You look at all those players that went through the grit and actually having to fight for a draft spot and to be who they are today. They had to put grind, work, effort into this. And then the NIL came in, and then these players are just going, okay, I committed to Alabama, but Texas Tech over here is offering me a lot of money to come in and play for them, but I won't be a starter. Okay, let me invest in that. Okay, yes, I understand that's investments that you could put into, like, your retirement, your 401k, whatever. That's smart. Yes, I'll agree. That is smart. That is reasonable to, plan for your future. You're a college student. You don't need $4 million in college. You don't. That $4 million should be going to your scholarships, to the school. $4 million should not go back to your pocket just to go buy a fucking Bugatti or a Ferrari, or to flash off a new house that's a mansion. No. That's fucking stupid. You're an idiot. College players, you need to reevaluate yourself and actually think to yourself, am I playing for a team or am I playing for money? If you're playing for money, you're in the wrong sport. Go to MLB. Dodgers got a lot of it. Might as well play for them. I grew up watching Alabama dominate with commitments and players waiting for their time. And you got players now that are getting butthurt, crying that they're not the starter on day one as them starting into college is fucking stupid. You don't deserve that. Only thing you deserve is a scholarship and a full ride. That's it. These NIL deals need to fucking stop. It needs to be reevaluated to the college team and to the player of their scholarship choice and their degree. Period. And if you think that I'm wrong, okay, explain to me in the comments why it's wrong. Explain to me why a 17-year-old can go out after they sign their NIL deal and get their check right then and there of, maybe $1 million, maybe $2 million, who knows. Get their check, go cash it in, and go next week to go buy a Ferrari just to show off, buy a 14K chain or whatever. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Please. And if you think it's just me being butthurt about it because, I didn't get to do that, because I did play high school football. I played it for 1 year. I quit. I did. I stopped playing because I believed that I wasn't good enough. That I needed to follow a different path. Do I miss it? Hell yes, I do. I miss it every single day. I wish I could go back right now and play and keep playing, and hopefully one day I was the quarterback that was leading Alabama onto the national championship like Jake Coker did, because that's who I believed I was going to be when I was playing. He was the quarterback when I was playing football, and he was the guy I looked up to. And AJ McCarron. Those were the guys I believed in. Jake Coker had to wait a year after transferring to Alabama, and he believed in himself that he could beat Blake Sims in 2014. He lost the starting job and he was the backup. Okay, what do? Let me evaluate. Okay, next year, we're going to have 2 quarterbacks. It's going to be me versus Cooper Bateman. And when he got pulled out of that Ole Miss game as the starter, and he came back in and almost led us back into winning that game, man, I wanted to be just like him. How much grit he showed. How much commitment he showed to the program. You don't see that anymore these days. You only see commitments to the coaches and to the money. Please tell me I'm wrong. Go in the comments right now and tell me why you believe that I'm wrong. College players should not be making this much money. NFL, I wholeheartedly believe they should be making the money that they're worth, because they are in their prime. Once they hit in NFL, they're in their prime. And they'll be in their prime for about a good 3 to 4 years, and then they may have a good season or two, and then it'll just drop off. Unless you're just like Tom Brady, Derrick Henry, Patrick Mahomes, and you're just always in your prime, no matter what field you're on. Home or away, Super Bowl or not. But the NIL has gotten too aggressive and just downright the most stupidest thing that has ever happened in college football, that we need to start evaluating college football in just total, because it's starting to become the NFL, but worse. Because people could just say, I'm in the transfer portal mid-season, and sit out and cry because they're not the starter, or they're not playing, or they're not getting playing time. Fight for it. Prove your coach is wrong. I'll admit, I never proved my coach wrong when I was playing football. I never tried. I was stupid at the time. At least I can admit it. Can you? But to go back on the transfer portal, the winners are just every team. Every team has a win because they're getting some player that they believe is going to be the best player that they can be because they couldn't play at the school that they committed to. Losers, it's the freshmen and sophomores of college football. You're not playing to be committed. You're not playing to prove yourself to the NFL teams, to all these teams out there that are looking at you and going, we want that player. He's going to be a number 1 draft pick. And sadly enough, nobody's really realizing that till one day, enough is enough. But if I have to do a grade of the transfer portal, the A pluses, I would have to say LSU, Texas Tech, Indiana, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's been surprising me. But, that's James Franklin for you. The losers, Auburn, you get an F. I know you've been pulling some rabbit out of the hat, but you've only gotten maybe 1 or 2. Not a lot. But Auburn, you're one of the biggest losers right now. Florida State, you're not a loser. You're more of just what's going on? I've seen you have good recruits, and then you just get this really, you lose players, and then you gain recruits, and then you lose players, and you gain recruits. It's just, what's going on there? Well, I've already went through my prediction for the national championship. Indiana, you've got my full support. I'm pulling for you tonight. You're definitely going to have the edge, in my opinion, and you do have the edge statistically. And I'm going to stand on it. And I'm going to die on this hill about the whole NIL. But this season has definitely reminded us why we love college football. With all the chaos, the passion, and the moments, we'll never forget. And if you love college football the way I do, y'all are in the right place. I promise. Every week, I will be talking with y'all about college football. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it last week, but I was getting married. I wasn't gonna do that and stress out my wife. I didn't want to do that to her. So I devoted my whole week to her and devoted my time to get everything prepared and everything ready for her to have the most beautiful wedding that she believed, because in my opinion, weddings are not for the groom. It's really not like I don't believe that people should just go up to the wedding and just be like, "Oh, I'm here just for the groom. Oh, look at the groom. The groom's so handsome." No, I believe that it's all wholeheartedly for the bride. It's something that she's lived for and dreamed about basically since she started basically having princess like ideas. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry about the whole rant that I went on about the NIL. I do believe that there's needs to be some reformality on it, and that it does need to be changed. And we definitely need to evaluate having a commissioner. I don't care who it is, as long as they know what they're doing. I hope it's not somebody on the fucking committee, because the committees are stupid, and they need to look into having a better job, because the way they handle college football playoffs is stupid. Allowing 2 Group 5 teams should cease and never happen again. Otherwise, you're just going to have, like what Nick Saban said, a AAA team going up against the Dodgers. It's like if I say the Iowa Cubs are going to be going up against the LA Dodgers in the World Series. That'll be over in probably like 2 games. Well, if you liked the stream today, and if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. It supports me, and it helps me know that you guys would like for me to have just talking to about college football. I mean, it's something I enjoy doing. I enjoy talking about college football every day. So, yeah. Like the video. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel, and yeah. Share this with someone who lives for the Saturdays, lives for college football, and just football in general. And I'll see y'all next time, where Legends of Saturdays, where Saturdays is always going to be legendary. Thanks for watching.